Hey, good morning, everybody. Today I want to talk about just living and being spiritually connected to everything it is that's surrounding you, everything it is that you're doing, etc. Okay? And I want to talk about this because a lot of you guys are doing technically correct things or logistically correct things. My voice just cracked. How about that? Things when you're talking to women, okay? But you're not necessarily getting results. And why? Because maybe your essence, your energy isn't put into it all the way. And maybe you're doing that because you're sort of like holding back. Maybe like you don't want to invest all your energy because you're scared to like put it all out there and have it be rejected. That's probably, for most of us, I think that's probably the bottom line. It's like, okay, so if you go approach a girl and you're just like, hey, what's up? And she blows you out. It's like, okay, low investment, and the sting of rejection doesn't hurt as much. So you're just sort of like preemptively shielding against rejection, okay? But if you go up to a girl and you're like, hey, what's up, right? And then she rejects you, it hurts a little bit more, right? But the funny thing is, by the time you conjured up that energy, you go talk to the girl like that, she says no, you're just like, fucking whatever, because you're in that energy already, and just go talk to a different girl, right? And then you're fine. But the problem is like, it takes effort and energy to conjure up that energy. So, something to think about. But the point is, like, you want to inject your essence into all the things that you're doing, including your text conversations, including your interaction with women, just like any interaction, okay? In everything that it is that you're doing, right? This is the universal discipline, which is awareness. Awareness is the universal discipline, right? If you're shooting free throws out on the basketball court, you want to be aware of the situation. You want to be relaxed, right? If you're in an MMA fight, you want to be aware, right? If you're socially interacting with other people, you want to be aware. It is the universal discipline, right? And part of this awareness is awareness of yourself. Awareness of yourself and how you're interacting, how you're showing up in the world. And so when you interact with other people, you want to fully be there, and you want to give them your energy. For every video that I do where I don't necessarily like feel the butterflies inside, I fucking hate it. You're not going to get it every time, right? If you waited for that, you never put out any videos. But, it always plays on my mind. It's like, man, like I want to like really say something that connects to somebody. You know what I mean? And you should have that attitude towards especially with the women that you're talking to, right? Interacting with everyone, but especially the women that you're trying to win over, right? They want to feel that. So some of you guys aren't getting results, and it very well could potentially be because you're not injecting yourself fully there. You're shielding yourself by going through the motions. Like, you might be putting the work in, you might be putting the elbow grease in, okay? But because you're not fully there all the way, it really doesn't matter, doesn't sting as much if you get rejected. And it's just this really, really, really covert method of protecting yourself against rejection. Because if you're not all the way there, invested in every interaction, being fully spiritually present, right? And when I say spiritually present, what I mean is your spirit's there with you in your body, guiding all the things that it is that you're doing, right? If you're not there, that girl isn't going to show up either, okay? And I can't explain why. I don't know how this shit works, but I think that, because if you think about it, that all that girl's seeing is like text on a screen, but somehow or another, I think our spirits somehow or another, can communicate just a little bit, and for whatever reason, however it works, that principle is going to be at play. So if you're not all the way there, I don't think that the girl's going to be there all the way either, And you can sum it up to, like physics, or just like you could break it down to the sort of like the common sense reality, right? Well, it's like, oh yeah, well, if your spirit isn't there, then, you're not going to send as entertaining texts, etc. And then, of course, the girl isn't going to be as engaged. And I think 100% that reality applies, right? I think all of that is true. But I think on a deeper level, in almost a mystical way, that same truth is going to apply, and you're going to have less results if you're shielding yourself in this way, okay? Okay, so another point on the subject, okay? So in the movie Jurassic Park, they're taking a tour of the grounds, the theme park, where basically what they do is they find dinosaur DNA in amber, in this mosquito that's trapped in amber, and they inject it from however many million years ago, and then they get the dinosaur DNA from the blood, and they recreate dinosaurs. And as they're taking a tour of the grounds, it comes out that they purposefully made all the dinosaurs female so that way they couldn't mate in their enclosures. So when the dinosaurs escape, they figure out, so the dinosaurs escape and they take over the park and start eating everyone, right? And in this process, the groundskeepers realize that all the dinosaurs or the dinosaurs are mating. There's more dinosaurs than what they expected. So they figure out that they're mating. And right there in that moment, when they figure this out, Jeff Goldblum has a classic line. He just says, "Life will find a way." He says it like with a light bulb above his head almost. He goes, yeah, life is always going to find a way. And it was such a classic line because it's so fucking true, guys. Life will find a way. And, when you're living, and you're spiritually connected to all the things around you, you're going to find a way to connect with the women that you want to meet. And survival is the bottom line undercurrent of society. I really believe this. I think that we are here today with the brains and the voices and the intellect that we have today because of competition and evolution, or whatever this process of creating this world around us is, right? It doesn't come from being soft. We already fucking know that, right? Like by and large, the fat guy with the Cheetos on the couch is not getting, between him and the athlete, typically the athlete is going to get the girl, right? If we reduce it to that comparison right there, right? There's much more that goes into play than athleticism and looks. But this world, camera went away from me. This world, let me fix that here. This is not a soft place. This world is, Jesus Christ, camera. This world is not a place for the soft. It is a place for competition and survival because our species needs to survive in the physical world. Okay? And so life will find a way. And the bottom line undercurrent of reality is survival. I think that the meaning of life, which is very subjective to us individually, we create our own meanings. That's very subjective, okay? But I feel like the bottom line meaning to life is simply survival. That's something that's universal to everyone. Okay? The meaning of life is to survive first, at least. And then from there, you create your own meaning. Okay? So if that's the case, it shows you that, like life will find a way is illustrative of survival being critical to our existence. Okay? And so I want you to think about that today when it comes to how powerful connections with the opposite sex can be, how critical they are for survival, even in a spiritual sense. And especially when it comes to COVID, okay? So this is the other thing I was thinking about the other day. So I was having this conversation with Luke, for those of you that know Luke. And we talked about the Jurassic Park thing and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to COVID, okay, so this is another little play off the same subject, which is when it comes to COVID, you think about all the restrictions that you might be experiencing at the moment in terms of legal restrictions or social faux pas for not wearing masks or, going to places that are shut down or whatever, whatever the existential restrictions that are in place at the moment, okay, despite whatever those are. Okay, life will find a way, right? Won't it? Can you imagine if this is Nazi Germany? You think nobody's gonna fuck still? The whole generation just dies off because the Gestapo are in place? It's no, people are still gonna be fucking in their houses at night, right? That's the bottom line. Life will find a way, right? And we're not all female, right? You know what I mean? That's the bottom line, guys. So the point is, I know this is kind of a segue from the other subject, but it just connects in terms of the components of what we're talking about. My thought was, like if you're in hardcore COVID restriction right now, life's gonna fucking find a way. You know what I mean? Women will meet you out. Don't stop what it is that you're doing. Don't react to the government's, little cute little fucking rules for how they think you should act. You still have to go out and get what you want. You still have to go out and get what you want. If your goal is to meet an amazing woman, there goes the camera. Anytime I turn my head, it just wants to pop off. So you trace her face on this thing, and then it follows you. So when I turn my head, then it freaks out. If your goal is to go out and meet like a lot of girls and have fun with them and all this shit, and maybe choose one, to hang around for a while or for the rest of your life, you got to do that. You got to fucking do that, and you're not going to, sorry, it's like I can't even look behind me otherwise this thing's going to freak out. You got to do that. And that pursuit is not going to be done like you're not going to do it like a robot. You know what I mean? It's funny because I tell you guys to be yourselves and, to really be there in your interactions with women. But it's like when you just want to do that intuitively, from where you're already at. So let's say you're a beginner and somebody tells you, oh, just be yourself, and you're like, well, shit, I've been being myself for the last 30 years and it's not getting me results. What the fuck? Can I just be a normal person or not? And so you go about the process of learning dating advice or game or whatever, right? And then things get better, right? And so then you start taking all this massive action and stuff. And then it's like, oh shit, man, I'm still not getting results. Or I'm not getting as good of results as I thought I would get, by the time that I put all this work in. And it's like, yeah, but you kind of got to go back to being that normal person that you were before you learned all this shit, so to speak, or at least combine those two people together. The new identity you created, plus that natural childlike intuition, just that person that, that personality that you've created over all these years in terms of, I mean, really what I'm getting at is just being a normal fucking human being. That's really what I'm trying to say, right? So you have to be a normal human being that knows how to be around women. Does that make sense? So you learn the discipline, but at the same time, you're still being a real person that's engaged and interested in the things that girl has to say, and you're going about it just in a more slightly calibrated way that ultimately becomes natural. It ultimately becomes natural because you do it so much. So at the end of the day, that's really what it is. So just the same way that you would so I'm just taking this little walk around the block, right? This is refreshing. The sun's out and I'm saying things that matter to me, right? And I'm hopefully I'm saying something that connects to somebody else, okay? The same way that you do this is you want to find that corresponding method that works for you, right? So I'm re-energizing through this process of taking a walk and doing a video. So for you, if it's meditating for a little bit, if it's getting out on the surfboard, if it's playing guitar for a while, whatever it is that informs your spirit, do that. And then that same presence that you get from that activity, whatever that activity is, be in that same space in terms of awareness and in terms of passion when you're interacting with women, and you're going to have a lot better results.